Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is an actress, singer, and songwriter from New York who's performed in various theatrical productions in addition to television and film. As a singer, she's performed in venues such as the Kennedy Center to Rockwood Music, and today she joins us to discuss her upcoming EP. Please welcome Emma Claye. Hi, Emma.
Hi, how are you?
Lovely background you have there.
Thank you. It's my
Nice
favorite.
It's your favorite. It's beautiful. It's pink. It's vibrant. I love is that stitching that's in the actual backdrop?
No, it's all cloth. It was a gift from my sister when she was in Tanzania, I want to say, I believe.
You can tell it has that authentic, tribal something in it. But thanks for sharing where it's from, and welcome. We are so happy to have you on, and we are so looking forward to sharing your story. I did introduce that you have all these various aspects to your craft, but I did want to open up with the fact that what took me or what made me go, oh, this is so fascinating, is that you actually went to Yale.
Yes, I got my Master's of Public Health from Yale in 2016.
In public health.
Yes.
Okay, so you invested all this time in going to Yale, and then what happened?
And then I worked in the field of public health for about 2.5 years while I was in New York City. And during that time, I was auditioning and dabbling in the performing arts. And there came a point where I was like, I can't really pursue both of these things anymore. It's too much. So I was like, let me just actually put my energy and focus into this thing that I'm very passionate about. And I left the field to pursue the arts.
And so you've been pursuing the arts, which you have a lovely voice, which you guys, you're going to get a taste of it later, but you got to hold on for that because she does have a very unique voice. But you also just recently landed a commercial during the pandemic, which is awesome. Congratulations. Because what I wanted to talk about was how this whole shift has impacted your work, but it seems that you got work that is related to the pandemic, which I think is really dope.
Yeah, so as a performer, for all performers right now, work is very, few and far between. And so I'm very, very grateful for the opportunities that I've had doing commercials and smaller theatrical Zoom things. And so I'm very, very grateful for that. And also having that background in public health, I'm able to sort of use those skills and, help and do my part as far as fighting this crazy pandemic that we're all dealing with right now.
So in your opinion, do you feel having this pause and this stay-at-home order has benefited you as an artist, even though, as you mentioned, the work is a little fewer and far in between? There's the work aspect of it, and then there's the creating aspect of it, right? And so it becomes a question of, okay, I get that my finances are not at the same scale because I'm not obtaining the same amount of work. And so the revenue generation the generating revenue is limited right now, but has that impacted your craftsmanship or craftswomanship, I should say?
It has. I feel like I've been impacted in both of the ways you just mentioned, as far as, lack of work and financial instability, but also with the fact that I have a lot of time, or had a lot of time earlier on in the pandemic, to sort of just sit and be still and not have to run around all over the place as New Yorkers typically do. And so I was really grateful for that time to just be able to create and not necessarily feel like I had to produce anything. I was just sort of writing music that felt very honest to myself and very honest to the experience that I was having in the pandemic. And so that for me was very, very, very cathartic, and I'm very grateful for that. And I don't know that I'll ever have that again. So I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, it is very difficult managing sort of the lack of work and not knowing when I will be able to have work consistently as an artist again. So sort of have to balance those two things.
So I'm going to ask you something a little personal. How has that affected you and your mental wellness?
I would say that there have been a few periods that were not very good. They were not very good. I felt like my mental and emotional health definitely took a lot of hits last year. I felt like 2020, you know, just kept dealing the blows left and right. And I
Yeah,
feel like,
and as artists, it's extra sensitive, right? Which is why I'm asking this question, because it could either help you or hinder you.
yeah, and it did both. It did both as far as it helped as far as, you know, being inspiration for a lot of music that poured out of me. But it was it hurt, you know. A lot of periods last year, they were very painful and they were dark and they weren't good. And so mentally and emotionally, it definitely took a toll, but it made me aware of a lot of things that I had to deal with within myself. So I'm grateful for that.
What was it about it that hurt so much? What stands out for you the most in how you were impacted with that sense of like imbalance, right? Because the idea is to balance, because they were both there. It exists for all of us, and it's really a question of like, okay, how do I balance it out? What tipped the scale?
I think for me, the biggest thing was the anxiety that was hindering for me. Like, anxiety is very real. And I felt like COVID anxiety, and like particularly, it just weighed very, very heavy on me. I remember like just like months at a time, just feeling very anxious every single day and not being able to sleep through the night and not being able to function as I normally would, and trying to work through and push through that while also, like I mentioned, trying to write and create music. And so, like I said, the music was sort of therapeutic for me, but that in specific was like very, very hard to deal with.
Well, the beauty is that not only was it therapeutic for you, it's going to be therapeutic for us. And if you would lovingly share what we're about to listen to and how your process was in developing this single that we're about to listen to.
So this single was actually written a few years ago, but being at home a lot, I had a lot of time to sort of like practice it and like perfect myself on like guitar and like with my vocals, and like take a little bit more liberty with it and get really, really comfortable. And so this song is called I Imagine Love, and it's essentially about what you imagine that really ideal and loving relationship would be when you find it. And so this is sort of for my single folks out there. And it's called I Imagine Love on all streaming platforms.
Awesome. Woo, thank you. All right, you guys. That was Emma Claye, and we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, Emma Claye is going to perform her latest single, so don't go anywhere.